You are listening to #Impact, a podcast about stuff that matters. I am Regina Larco, founder of #Impact, and you are tuning in as we are preparing for our brand new season. In the upcoming season 5, we will bring you thought-provoking stories inspired by the Sustainable Development Goals. To make this our most global and impactful season yet, we are already in conversation with stakeholders across the globe that tackle the global goals with their innovative and creative solutions. In this episode that was recorded this January 2020, you will follow our host Alice to Berlin to hear from a non-profit that demonstrates that when we start to see things in a different way, a whole new world of possibilities can open up. The co-founders Nora and Vera managed to establish an inspiring NGO, which founding story was presented in an amazing TEDx talk. They upcycled 2 tons of plastic waste in the last 3 years, and even the president of Germany visited them in 2018, as they created an innovative solution to change the narrative on migration and make a sustainable impact. Head over to #impact.com/season5 to get in touch with us and find out how you can get your story heard too.
Hello from Berlin, dear #Impact podcast listeners. I'm bringing today another story for you, and I'm very excited to interview Nora. She's one of the co-founders of the social enterprise mimycri. This organization manages to bring together fashion, migration, environmental protection, and political engagement by upcycling refugee broken rubber boat materials collected from the coasts of Greece and upcycling them into designer bags here in Berlin. As we are heading this year into the decade of action of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, I thought Nora and her inspirational journey could give us some hope on how activism can lead to action, and as I believe on how sectors should work together more to make room for social change. So please, Nora, I'm so happy that I'm here in your super cool co-working space on a beautiful day in Berlin in the mid of January, but it's 15 degrees outside. Thanks for inviting me, and please introduce yourself.
Thanks for coming by. My name is Nora and I'm the co-founder of mimycri. I started this project together with my co-founder Vera, and we started it after our joint experience in Greece, where we were volunteering for several months in 2015 and 16, when it was the high time of refugee arrivals in Europe. After coming back, we wanted to contribute in a, let's say, more sustainable way to the overall topic of migration by creating job opportunities for newcomers in Germany, by reusing these plastic waste and also raising awareness, creating touch points with this individual story, but also with this story that really moves societies all around the world. We call ourselves a impact design adventure. That means that we use discarded material, co-create bags and backpacks designs together with refugees. Our overall mission is to raise awareness with regard to migration and integration, as well as sustainability when it comes to producing and consuming fashion.
Thank you for this first introduction, which was great to give our listeners a little bit of a hint what you're doing. But visiting your website and preparing for this podcast, I realized there's so much more behind. Can you elaborate a little bit more? Like, who's working with you, the refugees, who are they? And what was the platform you managed to attract them to your organization?
Yeah, absolutely. So at the beginning, we were very much a, let's say, kitchen project where we met once a week at my place, and then at some point in creative space. And we actually just started a Facebook page and then posted in several groups reached out to the public and asked if there were anybody who was new in Germany that wanted to join this project. That's how people found us. And after that, once we had some traction also with the media coverage, then a more developed network, then we had also people that contacted us and be like, hey, I know somebody that is a tailor, a designer. And I think for this, we can be really grateful about the reach of social media.
That's true. Yeah. Those 4 or 5 refugees that you hired in the beginning, they're still with you, or some went to a different path?
No. So at the beginning, we did not hire anybody. Nobody was hired. We just met once a week, created and built this idea from scratch, I'd say. And it was also never really the intention to say this is how it should look one day. But one of them has been with us the entire journey. So from the very first Facebook post until where we are today. He was actually just working here this morning.
That's nice. On your website, which is so great, like I really tell all the listeners, please have a look as well at it. Buy some bags, definitely. They're beautiful as well. It's a good piece to talk about refugees and this mission and upcycling and sustainability. So I think it's a good thing to open a discussion.
Yeah.
But on this website, you also have a blog, which is amazing, which gives other entrepreneurs tips and ideas how to start a business. It showcases all the awards that you got, or another thing that I really liked, 7 sustainable ways how you can how you can make a little change in your personal life, or like with your family and with your surroundings. But come back to your awards. There are quite many. Now you just got the award on Women Entrepreneur of the Year 2019. Congratulations on that. And how did those awards help you and guided you through the last 3 years of this organization?
So it's obviously a very big honor to receive these awards, because it really means that our work is being seen and our work is being heard, because it obviously is also exhausting, and very often you don't really know what's happening in 6 months, what's happening in 10 months, and you have a lot of responsibility in like how to steer this organization. So it's a really big reward to feel that somebody's seeing what you're actually doing, and not only seeing, but also giving you the acknowledgement for what you're doing. And a lot of these awards were a combination of this recognition as well as coaching programs. And that was really, really helpful for us to have experts, outside experts, that help you to rethink your strategy, and also to tell you about like very basic things that you didn't know before, because all of us hadn't. When you're a co-founder, you have to be an expert in everything, and you just can't. However, I would wish for some rewards to also entail some part of financial benefits. And I think that's the general funding structure for social organizations. But I would in general wish for maybe a rethinking of what social initiatives need, as in addition to coaching and in addition to support and, for example, access to experts.
And from the German government, are there some funds available for social enterprise, especially in Berlin?
Yeah, it's starting to change. Like there's in general a better understanding of what a social enterprise is, and how, for example, special grants can help social enterprises. But I wouldn't say that we are the fourth runners when it comes to public support of social enterprises, but I have hope.
Maybe that will happen as well one day. Otherwise, how do you fund yourself if we are already in this topic? You're selling your bags. Is there anything else?
We sell these bags to individual customers. We also do bulk orders for organizations, a co-branding, or we design something new for them, and we receive donations. And at the same time, we are being asked more and more to host and design workshops where groups of people come to us and we design with either our material or their material, either prototypes or also reflect upon their own role when it comes to more sustainable practices in their professional or in their personal life.
Any examples that you can give in more detail and how you co-develop? Exciting, yeah.
Yeah, for example, people come and then we reflect upon their own leadership role and how much, for example, the topic of migration or sustainability is part in their daily life, and if there are touch points within their own reality where they could maybe change things, or is there anything where people could just rethink things? That's the starting point. And the last time we designed passport covers out of our material for them to take away. Maybe one example.
Yeah, great. So the listeners can imagine it more. Yeah. When we're talking here and I'm surrounded by all your products. Yeah. I like what you said, about rethink things. Yeah, it's the same what you do with your material. Yeah, you rethink what can you do out of this broken rubber material that are thrown down there on the beaches, and then doing something new. This upcycling, circularity topic. Yeah. Which is also a big trend here, of course, in Berlin, but it's only starting, and it's a good way. Who is doing what in this company? Do you have clear rules and roles?
Yeah, I think that's something that we really learned. At the beginning, everybody was doing everything. We also had only one email address, but I think that's really when you, move from a project that you do at the side to a more professional context. So at some point we started to really define certain responsibilities for everybody involved. And I think we always have to re-establish them, to really be like, okay, this is your responsibility, this is my responsibility. However, being responsible does not mean that people have to do it by themselves. And we are rethinking them every once in a while, because sometimes we realize there's much more work in one or less work in the other one. And being responsible for one department does not mean that you necessarily have to do all the work, but just that you have to oversee that all the to-dos and all the things that we planned are going to happen.
And Vera also participated in a TED Talk. Did you get any rhetoric training beforehand, or are you both natural good speakers about this topic?
Oh, it's very sweet that you put it that way. I wouldn't know of Vera getting a professional training. I think she just did a really, really good job at this talk. And there's probably also a lot of passion and heart in this talks that it makes it fun also to speak about it.
Yeah. I think both of you are such shining personalities with a big smile that you cannot listen to, but maybe you feel the smiles over listening to this podcast. How did it come to that you do this TED Talk? Talk to you, or did you approach them, or how does that work?
Yeah, we were really lucky, and we are also super grateful for all these opportunities that people want to hear what we're doing and show what we do. And the TED Talk, I think they approached us a year before already. Neither of us was available at that time. We were both also still working, I think, in our jobs. And then they approached us a second time, and then we flipped a coin to decide who's gonna do it.
That's friendship.
Yeah.
Make it easy. And your co-founder, Vera, she's also your best friend since a very long time, or did you meet her in Berlin?
Yeah, we studied together, and we have been friends ever since. And it's also a very interesting personal relationship, because you become very close when you start an organization together, and it really brings or adds another layer to the friendship relationship. And I'm actually super grateful to be able to share this adventure with her. It's been the best person to have by my side.
That's so nice to hear. Friendship is something so important, and if you can even create a company together, and especially such a company with such a mission, it entails a lot of respect for each other and knowledge of each other.
Yeah.
And then also the president of Germany came to visit you. How was that experience? And
it was exciting, like very exciting. Obviously, at the time we were working in a Fab Lab. That's like a creative prototyping lab in Prenzlauer Berg in Berlin, and we were selected along with 2 other startups to present our work. Yeah, like a great opportunity to also show that our work is not only the bag, but also has a political and a societal dimension. Because I believe if everything would be all right, then we wouldn't need to exist. Yeah,
that's why I also thought it's so interesting to mention this point. Yeah, it's not because it's a famous person coming to visit you, but to show this political importance of this topic. Yeah, and as well, your unique and your innovative product, which creates so much attention. Yeah, you already have another podcast. You have all those awards, and what are the next steps for this year, 2020?
So we will intensify the work that we are doing with the organizations. So that means first bigger orders or like co-branding designs for organizations in combination with inviting them over to really also interact the material and also work more in workshops with groups of people. Because we realize that cooperating with others, this can be the private sector, this can be other NGOs, this can be also another industry, is so much more powerful for the change we want to see. And I think we are a small positive example of how sustainable production and consumption and integration can look like, but we will never be able to do this alone. And joining forces and finding allies to create campaigns, designs, products, or even processes, and how to establish a more sustainable way of living and working and producing is really the way forward for mimicry.
Yeah. I think this sums up a little bit as well why we wanted to interview you, because you fulfill so many parts of the Sustainable Development Goals. Number 8, 10 and 12 are the ones that are the most, that you as well chose to promote in your website. So promote sustainable, inclusive and sustainable economic growth with producing your bags. You try to reduce the inequalities of number 10, and number 12 to ensure sustainable consumption production patterns. For me, this was the most obvious one, but of course with your mission you fulfill both others. And I think this decade for action, how it is promoted for the SDGs, will really show how this action will be put into practice. What do you feel about the SDGs? Are you positive about that it can be fulfilled? What is your opinion on that? It's a really difficult one.
Maybe I build upon what I said before, that I really believe that a lot of things are possible. Everything is possible if we really want it. And it's not upon the one individual person, but it really should be a collective action of civil society, political stakeholders, but also the economy, but to move this agenda forward. And I think it will take some courage, and it will take some hard work, but I don't see that there's any other option than working towards these goals and finding solutions, and also investing in finding solutions how we can actually reach them.
Yeah, and the organization is a very good showcase on how this can be. I just read something what is on your website. You say that your impact has been that you created jobs for newcomers in Germany. You upcycled more than 1 ton of plastic waste, sold around 1,000 bags. I guess nowadays it's a bit more. Supported 2 humanitarian organizations in Greece. And you were featured in more than 60 media articles and videos all over the world. So congratulations to that. I think that's such a great impact that you have, and which you can be very proud of, and
Thanks.
that you should, or that you will continue. I guess, and with all the new projects that you have for 2020, to work together with companies on that.
I really think that it's true. It's so nice that you say that it's a great achievement already, and I really believe that it's upon all of us to find a way how to contribute, and it's also really not so hard. I really don't mean that everybody should quit their job and so on, but there's so many ways to get involved, maybe an hour per week, or to rethink the way you shop, or there's really also small things that are easy to change, and does not necessarily mean that you have to change your entire life.
Yeah, I agree with that. Because sometimes you're in your own job and you think, oh, I'm not doing the same as you do. Remodeled my whole life. But if you find your mission, your cause, and you transfer the message, and you inspire other people to make a little change, then everyone it's going maybe in a good circle for impact, for social change. And just with your friends and your family and a bigger community, and as you're outreaching now to more people, and which is great. What is the biggest challenge of having this social enterprise?
So I think it's really a combination of various things. It's always the right prioritization of opportunities that lie ahead of you, because you very often don't know what is it that can be successful and what's not, or what should I focus on at the moment. And I think we had a hard time to focus at the beginning, and to also make ourselves focus again and again and again. And I think it's really a never-ending process where we learn to stick to what we decided, but also and as well being flexible enough to don't do things when we realize that they don't make sense anymore. And then to really plan some budget resources, and I mean time and money, for these kind of things. Because at least I calculate very often with okay, then we do this, we talk about it for 1 hour, then decide it, and then it's done. And then I plan 2 hours, and it's not like that. And
typical working,
and then you go back, and then you go forward, and then it takes more time, and then when it takes more time, it takes more money, and it's also like a tough situation when you're starting a new venture, and obviously time and money is really not what you have a lot lying around. So, but in the end, taking time to think about these things thoroughly, and to not plan too tight, time too tight, is really something that helps, and it also helps on a personal level, because at some point you just get too stressed and
frustrated if it doesn't work out.
And then I think what's also really good to think about is that you need some breaks, and that you have to accept that you don't know all the things. And we have received such a great feedback from all over when you just post online, we need an expert for photography or whatever, and then people are willing to contribute, and they do the greatest work. And I think it's to ask for help is just great, because
and people, that's the little thing then other people can contribute.
Or the big thing.
Okay. One thing, Nora, we didn't talk about yet, and which interests me a lot. How is the situation at the moment in Greece? Is it still similar, the same as the time when you were there 3, 4, 5 years ago? And Yeah, and especially as well, I think as well in Germany, yeah, people are not talking, it's not that much in the media anymore as it used to be. And there's still a lot of challenges and problems of integration, but as well very beautiful stories of integration. Yeah, I think especially in Berlin, there's so many really cool organizations or kitchen projects that work together or other NGOs, which I really like, and I think I will post them as well online so you can have a look at it. But maybe from your personal story, can you let us know a little bit more on that?
Yeah. So usually we go to Greece once a year and have been back a couple of times since we went there the first time. And also because we are cooperating with 2 NGOs on Chios and one on Lesbos. And I would say the situation has changed, and at the same time it hasn't changed. So it's not the case that as many boats arrive as in the time before the Turkey deal, but there are still boats that are arriving, and there are many boats that arrive, like many boats arriving. So it's true that we don't really read and see it so often anymore in the news over here, but only because we don't see it doesn't mean that it doesn't happen anymore.
Completely, yeah.
The situation is really not good in Greece because the camps are way too full, and so that means that also there are too many people in too small camps, and that means the authorities don't have the capacity to process so many papers, so people stay there very long, and it's basically a extreme situation for a very long time, and that's not a very good situation. I think I just read an article in the Zeit over Christmas where it says that some kids in the camps are developing backwards, so they're not even developing slower, but backwards. So that's why these NGOs are so important, because they try to provide schooling projects, they try to provide playgrounds, they try to provide food, and so on and so on. And I think that's the difference to the challenges that maybe Germany is facing. I would say here the work that needs to be done is to really integrate people into the labor market and to bridge or to bring people together. And that's the differences, obviously. But I would say we are far from having it solved only because it's not on the front page in the news every day.
I completely agree with you. And so in Greece, they're still looking for volunteers. So if any of our listeners wants to volunteer, there's also some links on your website for it. You would say yes?
Yes. So I think we have a blog article where there are several organizations that we know personally and that we can recommend. I'm sure that there are many other organizations that are doing great work also together with the migrants in Greece all over Europe. And if you have some spare time to travel for several weeks, that would be very, very helpful. And if you have only an hour per week, then in every city there's local organizations that need a helping hand. And I really encourage you to do that, not only because I believe that people can get something out of it, or the newcomers, but because I believe that you can get something out of it. I get asked often, oh yeah, but you gave up so much and so on, but we also gained so much, we have friends, we learned about ourselves, we learned new skills for my personal development. So I really think it's also an invitation to change the perspective that somebody that is new, or that when you donate 1 hour of your precious time, that there's something in for you as well.
Okay. That's so well rounded up, and I think it's such a gratefulness from you. I think we can round up our talk with that, but before that, we go into the #Impact quick fire round with a few questions. Nora, let's start with a quick fire round. What's one advice you would give to your younger self?
I mean, technically, every hour I'm older than the hour before, right?
I like that.
So I would recommend my younger self to really enjoy or try to enjoy the moment, because it will never come back to you, and at the same time to think in a way that the way you are is great. And I think that this can be for my younger self when I was maybe 3, but also maybe when I was 2 days ago.
Do you have a role model?
Yeah, I find this question super hard, to be honest, and it also sounds stupid because I can't really answer it. This does not mean that there's not amazing men and women out there, but I really think what inspires me these days is to think about small kids, because I feel that they are very honest and and listen more to their heart than we sometimes do. And I think sometimes I'm wondering if we all had more playfulness and more honesty, we could do things in a way that it is more beneficial for everyone.
What could everyone do right now to make the world a better place?
It sounds very cheesy, but I think I always write notes onto my hand so that I don't forget. And I think making a complete stranger happy, like being nice to someone in the metro or being nice to this colleague that you never talked to, could be something that is super easy. But imagine if everybody would do it. Like everybody is nice to...
It makes me smile, yeah.
No, really, it sounds cheesy, but I think cheesy can be good sometimes.
Oh, Nora, thank you so much for this inspirational talk. And I hope all listeners enjoyed it. And visit the website, spread the mission of Mimycri. And let's hope to hear from you soon.
Thank you for coming. Really, pleasure.
So many incredible insights. I hope you enjoyed eavesdropping on this conversation as much as I did. Please check out their website at mimycri.de. That is mimycri.de, and find out how you can make an impact with regards to the topic of refugees and migration. Stay tuned for more conversations on the Sustainable Development Goals as we are gearing up for Season 5, and subscribe to our channel from wherever you're listening right now so you don't miss our updates. Reach out to us at hello@hashtagimpact.com and find more information on how you can become part of Season 5 at hashtagimpact.com/season5. Thank you for joining us today. I talk to you very soon. Bye.